Grand Design is looking like Boeing right now with missing bolts and a door flying off in the air.
That these rigs are overweight to begin with. That the stickers that they're putting on there are not accurate. The silence has been deafening. Nobody will respond. People are being harassed on some of the Grand Design Facebook sites because they bring up the word and they're just asking. A lot of them are just asking because they don't know.
It's like Voldemort from Harry Potter. It's that which we do not speak of in these other.
That's exactly right.
Grand Design RV groups. You're going to get either banned, your post deleted. So insurance has ruled officially that it's a manufacturing defect.
It is a safety issue here. It is a massive safety issue.
70% of the Grand Designs coming into his facility have flat springs and they're overweight. A lot of back and forth, like the dealers don't know what to do. The dealers say, talk to Grand Design. Grand Design says, talk to the dealer, or talk to Lippert. Lippert says, talk to Grand Design. Somebody watching this video, if it's not themselves, they will know who we're talking about.
I'll let you in on a secret. So if it's a non-approved PIN box,
it's good business to take care of your customers and terrible business to not.
There is no regulation in the RV industry. And I find it, I'm going to say it right here, live and all that good stuff. It's disgusting that it doesn't. And they've gotten away with it too long. I'm coming after the entire RV industry when I say this. They need to be regulated.
I'm Tom.
And I'm Cheri.
And we're EnjoyTheJourney.Life.
Well, hey, everyone. We are on with Pete West from West on the Move. How's it going today, Pete?
Good. How's everybody doing out there? Good to see you.
We had to have Pete come on right away because this is breaking news. You just got off the phone with who, Pete?
Okay, I just got off the phone for a second time with Brad Smith. He is Grand Design's Director of Warranty and Customer Service.
They requested to talk to you, right?
Yes. So my point of contact at Grand Design is Chris Holland. She is the Consumer Relations Manager. And in my eyes, my wife's eyes, she walks on water. She is the only person at this moment that I trust at Grand Design for my stuff or anybody I refer to her. And she keeps telling me, send people her way. That's how I found out about Brad Smith wanting to talk with me, was through Chris. So the big new customer service building that they have, he's in charge of that building.
It's big and beautiful. I was there this summer picking up a part. It looks amazing. And of course, we're continuing our video series on frame flex or frame failure in RVs.
Correct.
And just I think my introduction of you, Pete, you're like the RV consumer advocate. I'll say you're the Grand Design hero in the moment right now, because you have been working tirelessly, long hours, helping many Grand Design RV owners to get service, including myself. Thank you very much by sharing your contact there. And so you, of all people out there right now, you've got the information on what Grand Design is considering doing, because they've been silent for a long time, right?
Yes, they have been. It's kind of a long story, and this thing started 2 weeks ago, and I was kind of brought in to help out with this site, and so I did that, and we brought in over 500, and I think it was like 540 people to find out, to try to bring everybody together to one location. So there's a lot of sites out there, and everybody's talking to everybody and everybody's talking to this person and that person. The problem that they're not doing, we're not getting action out of it. I get to a point where I say, enough talk. We need to get some action out of this. And so given the fact that, and we'll talk about that, but given the fact that we're also going through frame failure with our 2022 Grand Design Momentum 395 MS. I really felt strongly about this and the fact that Grand Design had gone silent. That's a problem. When you have a company that you have a warranty through, or it was, in this case, it was literally a manufacturer's defect. And that's what insurance companies are calling it right now. That's why a lot of insurance companies won't cover it, because it's a manufacturer defect.
Oh, so insurance has ruled officially that it's a manufacturing defect.
Well, I've heard this from a number of people that they've been told, because they tried to file through their insurance company, that they've been told that it's a manufacturer defect and that they won't cover it. So this means, especially for people that are second time, maybe even a third time owner, and they're still on the road with these RVs. I mean, it is a safety issue here. It is a massive safety issue.
Make sure you smash that subscribe button so you catch these full-length interviews with other RV owners that have experienced frame flex and frame failure. Plus, we also have how-tos on many RV topics, as well as adventures and RV industry news. So check that out. And
what people don't understand is we're not cars out there. We're RVs, but those RVs could detach from your vehicle, causing accidents and everything else. And with this frame failure the way it is right now, there's a potential of that happening. Excuse me. So that's kind of what's going on here. We've got a big safety issue. We've been telling people to, as a matter of fact, we've been telling people to register on the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration website. And we've heard through the rumor mill, I'll just say it that way, that if over 300 people register on there, that they'll do an investigation. I'm not so sure they're going to be as helpful. After my phone call with them, the frontline person basically wouldn't let me speak to anybody, an investigator, a manager, a supervisor, anybody. And I just have to wait and see what happens. So hopefully everybody's still registering with them.
Okay, so we will put that link down below in the description and the pinned comment. Yeah. Let's back up to your call with Brad and kind of the breaking news, because I would say there's what, hundreds of videos on frame flex and frame failure on YouTube now?
Good Lord. Well, I know it's gotten real hot as of lately. There's quite a few videos out there right now.
Right.
But even more so, yeah.
Big content creators, JD,
right.
Big Truck, Big RV, Josh, the RV Nerd.
Josh,
and just and many other channels.
Well, let me say this much, that I do know of for fact. I strictly factual here. I had a conversation with Brad on Wednesday, and I tell them their number one problem right now is lack of communication with their owners, and the silence. The silence has been deafening. Nobody will respond. People are being harassed on some of the Grand Design Facebook sites because they bring up the word and they're just asking. A lot of them are just asking because they don't know. And they're bringing up the word frame failure or frame flex, and they're being harassed. As you said in a previous video, yeah, they don't have any place to go to. They don't have anybody fighting for them. And I basically got kind of fed up with it and decided I got to do what I can do for anybody that I can help.
It's like Voldemort from Harry Potter. It's that which we do not speak of in these other.
That's exactly right.
Grand Design RV groups. You're going to get either banned, your posts deleted, or you don't have any problem. I have a Grand Design and it works fine. How could you have any?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, they're doing everything from saying it's people are overweight with their rigs. And we found out, like, one person I know for fact, and a lot of people know who he is, but I won't mention his name. One person I know had an empty rig. He took his rig in empty. they took his rig to go get it fixed. There was nothing in it. Let me repeat that. There was nothing in it. Showroom ready to go. They waited. Hadn't been inside yet. They waited. He was overweight. He was overweight.
And say they, that would be Grand Design.
Grand Design. And I'm thinking, okay, so what you're saying really is these rigs are overweight, which I have a real strong suspicion of this to begin with, that these rigs are overweight to begin with. That the stickers that they're putting on there are not accurate. Ours here is 20,000 GVWR, gross vehicle weight ratio. I think if I was to, and we're going to take everything out of ours when we get it fixed, but except for batteries, solar, and the components that go with that, I'm willing to bet they're going to say I'm overweight too, even though everything's out of the rig for the most part. So my suspicion is that these things were built overweight to begin with, based off of their stickers that they put on here. Yeah.
Yeah, something is up with that.
Yeah.
And I know you've watched this video, but the one I'm in the middle of watching is RV Travel, Keith Ward interviewing Dustin out in California. And he's kind of an RV tech that's been working on these problems. And he said 70% of the Grand Designs coming into his facility have flat springs and they're overweight.
First of all, let me say I'm a fan of him now. I'm a big fan of Dustin. When he said the things he said, and it's similar to what Josh said too, there's a bigger problem here. Part of the problem, yes, subpar parts on a lot of these RVs, not just Grand Design, but other ones too. As an example, we have friends, they're YouTubers. They took out the wet bolts on their suspension, and plus the shackle had ripped apart basically, and because they didn't put the whole system in together, and there was a video done on that as well. But so I think, like what Josh said in one of his videos, education is one of the biggest problems because people don't know how they're overweight. They don't understand. They don't understand necessarily how to get their rigs weighed. And it's not. There's a lot of posts out there, and but people don't really know. They should be hearing this from the dealerships and or the manufacturers specifically, and they're not. And so people are left out there hanging. They're told their warranty's expired or they're out of their warranty because of this, that, or something else. They don't know. And so when you have a company that shuts down completely and doesn't want to communicate, that's a problem.
Right. Yeah. And taking loyal customers like Greg. Is Greg not the most loyal Grand Design customer there is?
Well, there's some other, I'm just gonna go with the first name. There's one, Charlotte, who I'm a big fan of them. But she is very much a loyal brand customer, and they're going through this. But luckily now, because of recent things that have happened, they're going to take care of them. So,
Greg is on his 4th Grand Design since 2018.
Yeah.
And not because he didn't like the previous units. He liked them all.
Right.
And it's like, who else has had more than 4 Grand Design RVs since 2018? I don't think
exactly. Yeah. So, when you take somebody like myself, who've never RV'd in their life, never had a diesel truck, never had, let alone a dually, and then you get this rig and you're really happy, and then all of a sudden this stuff happens, and you're like, do I really want to do this again? So I commend Greg. I'm a big fan too. we're buddies now, and but we've been keeping in communication with each other, and I've referred him to Chris, and they're taking outstanding care, literally outstanding care of him, along with some other people too. So yeah, it's hopefully we'll see some change here.
And he had a similar kind of challenge with getting it taken care of, where he was told that his kingpin or pin box was the wrong one or something. It was an
Yeah.
air ride, and it was the original more ride pin box.
Yeah.
So and they're doing this, and his newest unit is a year old.
Well, that's funny that you say that, because we thought we were getting a more ride pin box. We did. And all of a sudden it shows up with this horrible, terrible Rhino pin box. No suspension, no cushion, no airbags, none of that stuff. And I made a change immediately, and I did a lot of research, and I found the Gen Y executive hitch, fifth wheel executive box, and that, between that and our independent suspension, I think has made all the difference in the world. I will never not have independent suspension, but I think it has helped keep the frame failure down. I think it could be a lot worse in our rig.
I think suspension is one of the solutions. And now, speaking of the Gen Y executive, I have that as well now, and I love it. Plus the independent suspension. But the one issue with the Gen Y is that is a non-approved pin box.
I'll let you in on a secret. So if it's a non-approved pin box, we were in Jacksonville, the SRT team, 3 of them showed up because they just came back from an owners rally, and they had to verify our frame failure. And one of the, I guess he was one of the leads or supervisors. I'm not real sure what his role was, but from my understanding, and he said, really nice pin box. That's all I needed to hear. So I honestly, I think some of these excuses are being made so they don't have to honor somebody's warranty.
Yeah.
And I'm not shy about saying that.
Well, and right, even with the truck, like I think they were questioning the airbags on Greg's truck. And we hear that with some other people as well. And it's like that's just there to help,
Exactly.
Just to point it out and say, well, that's different, so therefore you're denied. For those that are not Grand Design RV owners or don't feel like they have a horse in this race or whatever, it really, if you buy an RV, but I think Grand Design especially, you're buying into a family of RVers that are, thinking they're getting a better built, better designed RV.
Right.
And a lot of us felt that way. We're Momentum owners as well. And we were excited to get that Grand Design Momentum, be a part of the family. And,
exactly.
And I met Don Clark, and I was blown away by his enthusiasm for the industry and the company. And, Grand Design was newer then. This was a few years ago. And then it changed, maybe because they were bought out by Winnebago. A lot of people think that might be why, but either way, it's good business to take care of your customers and terrible business to not. I mean,
so I have a question for you, Tom. So when you buy the RV from Grand Design and this is family, does family do this to you? Do they ignore you completely and silent? Well, in some cases, we may have family members that do that. But
yeah, maybe we need to rephrase that.
No comment, right? but this is not how you treat family, especially when you have somebody as loyal like my friend Charlotte, somebody who's as loyal as that and loves the company, and and then this happens, and it's tough to deal with. I mean, from an emotional standpoint, when you were behind this company 100%, and then this happens. So it's like, that's not how you treat family. And I don't know. We'll see how things go, with that. But
right. I mean, we have many positive Grand Design videos that we've made a couple years ago. We don't have any on the plate right now going forward. And there's a reason for that. You know,
Right.
we are going, just like you, we're advocates for the RV community.
Right.
And I mean, I think the bigger picture here, that we're hoping that the RV industry will take on automotive standards,
Right.
even agreeing to be regulated like an automotive company, and actually have some teeth in the quality control, because some of this stuff is really bad.
Bad. Yeah. You know, and you say this about the regulation. That's something I continue and will continue to push for. They shouldn't be given a choice. When it's a safety issue in particular, like these frames, because everything I've been hearing from other people that have been to frame manufacturers and stuff is that you really can't repair it per se. I heard one person tell me you literally have to take the shell off of the top of the frame and fix it then. And so our hope is that when Grand Design gets it back, like for our rig, for example, that it will be, I want to say fixed. But the problem you have, though, let's go back to the regulation thing. There is no regulation in the RV industry. And I find it, I'm going to say it right here, you know, live and all that good stuff. It's disgusting that it doesn't. And I mean that wholeheartedly. How is it that a industry like this that has these rigs out on the road, they're out on the road, which could cause serious harm to people, even death, and there's no regulation? I don't understand that. And they've gotten away with it too long. They've gotten away with it too long. So I'm coming after the entire RV industry when I say this. They need to be regulated.
Well, and like we've talked about with social media, these Facebook groups and YouTube, there is no secrets anymore. I mean,
No.
you don't have to have a big social media following. You have a frame failure, like I know it was shared in the Grand Design RV frame failure group, which we'll put a link down below in the description for that
Right.
group. But it was a travel trailer. I think it
Yeah.
was an Imagine that, I mean, it snapped on the
Oh,
road.
it snapped.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll share with you. Brad asked me if I could find the name. I talked to somebody or chatted back and forth, I should say. Their pin box broke off of the frame, landed in the back of the truck. And I cannot, I wouldn't say the name on, you know, over the air, but I was trying to, and unfortunately, I'm not on that group anymore right now. This advocacy, I should say, has turned a different route for me. Same route, but in a different direction. So with that said, is it bothered me when I heard this that the kingpin or pin box broke from the frame and it caused an accident. I didn't get into the details of that accident, but this was bad when I heard the story. I just couldn't believe that this happened. And I'm not exaggerating when I say this.
And
Yeah.
you're still trying to find this person, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to find him. I don't know if I'll be able to now, the way things are going, but you know, it's like one of those things. Yeah, it didn't really happen unless you have a picture, but it
Well,
really did. Apparently, it did happen to them.
hey, this is the perfect opportunity. We've described it. Somebody watching this video, if it's not themselves, they will know who we're talking about. And
Right. I hope so.
we'll put your contact information, Pete, down below in the description as
Okay.
well. And actually, I have a companion blog post on our website that we will put the
Yes.
links and all of our videos together for those that
Sure.
want to do a deep dive in our frame flex history and what's going on with our rig. But
Right.
we again, we want to find out who that was to make sure they're getting the right help from Grand Design, right?
Yeah, exactly. If they see this, please get a hold of me. Please, please, please. Um, this was probably the worst case that I've heard of yet to this point. Um, so yeah, if you're out there, please contact me. And I'm going to put you in touch directly with Brad Smith, because this should not have happened. Um, and I don't remember what the outcome was as far as I'm pretty sure it was totaled, I would imagine. Um, but I don't know. We'll see, see what becomes of the video, and if they can reach out and find me. So yeah.
And that's also, it's great to share from, it puts a real world example on the consequences of this, because for the rest of us, we are only seeing small signs of things. We're not
Right.
really getting affected directly
Right.
by the signs.
Yes.
And,
Mhm.
and like a lot of us, we see a small, I mean, that's one thing for RV owners, you always have a list, whether it's 2
Right.
items or 20 items or 200 items that need to be fixed. But and I'm guilty of it. It's like, that can wait, that thing can wait, whatever. But this,
Let me tell you, Tom, I have a little magnetic bowl, no lie. And my wife and I were just talking about this, with everything that's in it. The only thing that's in it is screws that have fallen out of our RV here. Screws and that type of stuff, literally fallen out of our RV. And so one of these days I'm going to do a post on my site, West on the Move, and show that because it's insane.
yeah, and actually, I want to make this shout out for you again. Thank you for standing up in the moment as an advocate for the industry. So for everybody watching, please go follow Pete. West on the Move. You've got all the social medias. We'll put that down below as well, because again, dozens and dozens of hours that you're doing for no pay just because you want to help people. So thank you.
Yeah. And
on
you're
behalf
very
of the
welcome,
RV industry, we thank you for what you're doing.
Thanks. Well, I'm here for anybody, because this is wrong the way that this is happening. And so hopefully here we'll hear something from Grand Design in the next coming days, so to speak, and then they can clear things up and get people back, to the customer service building, get them fixed and out the door, and compensate them for their losses. I mean, people are taking some serious losses here.
Right.
So that's my hope.
I mean, we're not talking about a cheap repair on these units. I mean, we're what, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000.
Well, I've heard as much as $16,000, and I think that was somebody who went to the affinity group. Who I guess it was. I don't really know the details, so I don't want to misquote or anything like that. But my understanding was like $16,000, and that's pretty extensive, from my understanding.
Before we go
they're
on,
pretty well known.
Before we go on, everybody's going to wonder, who is the puppy in the background there?
Oh, well, let's see. That's Jax, and then Heidi's over here. She's our little girl.
Okay,
so yeah, that's Jax in the background.
Well, and
yes, everybody.
What is Jax?
Well, they're both rescues. Okay. And I will tell everybody right up front, that brand new couch that we just got back in Colorado is their couch. Okay. If you want to come sit on it, you can sit on it, but just remember it's their couch.
You might get kicked off by Jax, huh?
Right. Possibly going to happen.
Okay. Jax is like, frame flex, whatever, I'm chill.
I don't care.
No problem. So the anticipation then is something is going to come out from Grand Design, possibly from the highest level. Is that right?
Yeah. That I kind of get that impression. Yes. So let me elaborate on that a little bit more, because I don't have anything in front of me at this point. This was just conversation between me and the director of warranty and customer service. The number one thing, like I said, that I ask that they need to do first is communicate with everybody. That is the number one. If they don't communicate from on high, Don Clark himself, it's going to fall on deaf ears. So I do ask that people give them a chance, though. I think they're aware that they made some mistakes here, and it's pretty big mistakes. But I think people need to give them a chance to implement this stuff. I'm seeing that already with Greg's and some other people that are getting taken into the customer service factory there to get them repaired. Now, I'm going to say this in front of everybody. They will not allow photos or video, but I'm going to say you need to demand before they put the cap back on that you get to see it, because I'm demanding it. And I'm not signing an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement. I would never do that. I'm still under warranty. They need to fix it. And that's it. Plain and simple. I'm not even asking for losses at this point. What it's costing us to change our schedule 3 times to go to Elkhart, the diesel, the hotel stay for 3 to 4 weeks. I'm not even asking. Well, I wouldn't mind the hotel, but I guess my point, because that gets to be expensive after 3 or 4 weeks.
Sure.
And it's an inconvenience to us as the RV owners. And so I really do feel strongly that Grand Design needs to compensate people. A lot of people just want to be covered. They just want to get their RVs fixed. They want to be compensated for some of the loss at least, and reestablish a connection with your owners out there. And that's what I'm saying to Grand Design. That's the only way this is going to happen.
Right. I think, like you said, there needs to be an acknowledgement from the company and what they're going to do. I'll use myself as an example because we had it on a previous RV.
Right.
And we've got some symptoms of it on this RV, but I'm going to say we're in the question mark phase. And so I'm going to contact, you said Christine, right?
Well, Chris. She prefers going by Chris because she doesn't want it to sound like her mother's scolding her.
Okay. I will.
Chris, I hope you don't mind me giving that away.
Well, we're in a different boat. We're second owners.
Right.
It's also it's older than 3 years. We have some signs, so we want to see what they're going to do in our case as well, because we're in the we don't know, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
And I guess that's part of this communication. There needs to be clear instruction from Grand Design. What do they need to do if they're going to send us to a dealer? The dealer has to know what to do.
Right.
And I think from some of the, like talking to Greg, seeing some of the other people talk about it on Facebook, a lot of back and forth, like the dealers don't know what to do. The dealers say, talk to Grand Design. Grand Design says, talk to the dealer, or talk to Lippert. Lippert says, talk to Grand Design. So
I'll let you in on a little knowledge that I've learned over this. Grand Design does send the dealerships service bulletins. They do. They send them service bulletins if there's an issue, like in this case, frame failure or whatever. What happens, though, dealerships don't want to deal with it because it's warranty work. They're not making as much money when they're doing warranty work, just like an automotive shop would be the same way, like a Ford, Chevy, Chrysler, whomever it may be. They don't make really much money from warranty work. And so they don't want to do it. And so what happens is Grand Design, though, sends them to these people. Done. They find out that they don't even know what they're doing. A lot of them don't know what they're doing. And they're right back to being frustrated and everything else and don't know what to do. So that's why I've been telling people in this place, I'm going to redirect them too. Don't just call Chris Holland. She's overwhelmed right now. And I apologize, Chris. I'm so sorry. But you told me to call. to refer everybody to you. If you feel like you're not getting resolution, then email Chris directly,
Okay.
or just ask for her. But right now, Brad is making some changes in his department, so to speak. This takes a little slack off of her because I'm the one who keeps sending people to her, so it's my fault. But I will tell you, it sounds to me, and we'll see, but it sounds to me like they realized a mistake was made. This has got to be fixed, because it's a brand reputation too, you know. So we'll kind of see what happens there.
And backing out a little bit, do you have any sense of how widespread this is among Grand Design models? Which models are affected, which are not? What percentage? Do you have any handle on that yet?
Okay, so I'm going to start off by saying this. There's all this rumor going around that it's less than 0.5%. I'm sorry, I'm not buying that. After the Facebook site got started, I don't buy that, and I think there's a lot more of it out there. So what those models are covering is momentums for sure. The Grand Design momentum. I've seen it as far back as 2016 to 2023. So they've been building them that just like this that long, and nothing's ever been done about it. So hopefully now we'll see. Also the solitudes, and there's a variety of different models and everything else. So I would just recommend people, if you suspect you have it, there are measurements for it, and a lot of people probably won't do that correctly. But at least contact somebody at Grand Design where you can find out where to go to get it verified. I do think there's a lot more of it out there than meets the eye. I really do.
Right. And that
reflections too.
Okay.
Reflections too, but there's very few reflections, like very, very few.
Okay.
I don't think it's so much of an issue with them.
And that self-test with the front cap, the pin box, and the landing gear. Yep. I did that test. It was inconclusive, which I think does not mean I don't have it at all either.
Right.
The simplest test to see if it can prove that you do definitely have it, or
right.
We're not sure yet.
Well, and there are some obvious signs too.
Yeah.
Those obvious signs are cabinets pulling away from the walls. I've got one of the on the passenger side. I got to think about this, but the passenger side, there's like a little I want to call it, looks like a wooden where they've got wires and stuff or whatever through there, and that's where a lot of the lag bolts are. Now, one of the things, and I'm going to say this publicly, a lot of people, the frame was drilled out for 1/2-inch holes to hold the walls to the main frame, and that's correct, 1/2-inch. What was discovered is that they got 3/8-inch bolts in there, lag bolts, and they're falling out. And in some cases, they weren't even put in. It must have been a Friday or a Monday, or Monday or Friday. They weren't even put in. And I have talked to some of those people. And so that's the problem, because we need this, the body of this RV kind of keeps everything intact. And there is going to be some flex in the RV. There's no doubt about that, and the frame and all that. But when things are detaching, that's a problem. And then you do know you have frame failure. So yeah, there are signs like that.
Yeah, that's the lag bolt issue is something I have not checked yet. And I know it's not easily accessible depending on the model that you have. It may not be easy to check that.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, like, this is a major connection point, and some are completely missing.
Yes, they are. Absolutely. And there's no place for them to fall down into. So it does go to prove that they're just missing. So I think when they say that your rig was PDI'd after the factory build, something's missing there, and that's a proper PDI.
Right. And I can't resist making another joke, like somebody pointed
Please.
out in one of our other videos that Grand Design is looking like Boeing right now with missing bolts and a door flying off in the air.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, that was a
you're right.
comment on one of our videos, but you laugh to get rid of stress. That's what we're doing, because
Yeah.
it's not a funny situation when it comes to dealing with it. So beyond Grand Design units,
Right.
have you heard of this happening to other RV manufacturers?
Yes, I have heard of it, but it's not to the same degree. And the big difference is my understanding from those people that have had that from other manufacturers, and it's just my understanding, is that the companies have been really good about taking care of them, getting them in and getting it resolved as quickly as possible. Um, so there's a big difference between doing that and then not communicating at all with your customers. And that, to me, that is the number one problem right now. And that's not communicating with your customers. And so, but those companies, yes, some of them have them. I've heard Montana's, I can't remember all the models because I don't know all models, but yes, I have heard of them, but I've heard they fixed them too. So
Well, it's one of the most basic things. I've been an entrepreneur, small business owner all my life, and if bad news comes out about your company, you have to get out in the front of it. You need to own that
exactly,
conversation.
you do.
Take responsibility, basically direct people with how you're going to handle it.
Right.
And otherwise, I mean, people just make up stuff in the background, and we have potentially a bunch of RV owners that don't have it, but they're worried that they have it.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
it's causing fear, and
it is.
we don't need people to be afraid. We just need people to,
Right.
do you have it? Let's get it solved and get you safe
Right.
and back on the road.
And Brad and I were talking about that today. And that is what happens is, and I know Lisa put it in her email to them. What happens is they start wondering if something's wrong with theirs. And because nobody's communicating, then all of a sudden the stories get built up and get built up. But I will have to say one thing here, and that is I don't disagree with Brad and Chris, and that is when you call the customer support line or you email them, try your best not to go off on them. Look, these guys are just doing their best to help you out. Now, if they're being rude or they hang up on you, wow, you called us twice, we hung up on you, and you're still calling us back. Yeah, that's a problem. That actually happened to somebody.
I know
somebody bunch of us know.
And well, I just have to say that I'm sure that's something, I think you did share that with Brad, right? That particular interaction. And yeah, that's not professional. That longtime viewers of our channel know that one of our mottos, and we have t-shirts that say "Be kind." And right, Grand Design employees are not the owners of the company. They don't necessarily have any vested interest in the company itself, other than they're a human and they deserve to be treated with kindness.
What's the old analogy? You can get more with honey than you can with vinegar or something like that. I'm not good at the analogies, but that's true. I mean, I know some of these guys probably get beat up on, and Brad and I talked about it, and I completely 100% agree with him on that. You can't just go off on these guys. They're trying to help you.
And if customer service is a thankless job. I mean,
it is.
It is, especially if you're dealing with a big problem like this. You could deal with dozens of angry customers every day, and it can be really tiring on you, and
Yes.
everybody can get short fused.
Yeah.
So that is a great reminder, that it's going to be cooler heads that on all sides that help to find a resolution to the problem.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because there was one other person that I called and talked with twice. His name is Kyle, and he's no longer at the company. And I'm brokenhearted about it because he had great customer service. And so, Kyle, if you are out there, I'm thinking about you, brother. Um, and so they need more Kyles. They need more Chris's. They need more just interaction with the customer. Be there for the customer. Be there for family members.
Right. And I also think this is not a cost to the company, that it's a far larger cost financially to the company
Oh,
to keep doing what they're doing, to keep
yeah.
ignoring it, and have more people like on our previous videos, we have many comments from people that, oh yeah, I'm shopping now. I just took solitude off the list. You
Yeah.
know, people that are like, I don't want to deal with Grand Design. I'll
Right.
just go to another manufacturer and not deal with this. And
Right.
tell me how much does that cost the
Yeah.
company? And that's going to continue. But if they, let's say it costs them millions of dollars to fix this problem, to take care of everybody, it costs
Right.
millions, but that's an investment. It's an investment
Exactly.
in your family, right?
Exactly.
It's an investment to get more people like you and I and Greg and Charlotte to say, all right, oh, we're in for another Grand Design product when it's
Right.
time to buy another one. Like,
Yeah.
okay, we're in it. Where right now, I'm not in that boat right now. I don't know where you are. What is it, Pete?
Well, there's a certain YouTuber who I kept making recommendations and making recommendations. The leaf spring problems, the wheel problems, everything else, and I kept thinking to myself, okay, you got to figure this out, man. This can be fixed, but you got to figure this out. But they turned around and bought a different RV, so it's that didn't get fixed, unfortunately. But it's like you see this all the time where they're breaking down leaf springs. Leaf springs. I'm going to say it right here now in front of everybody. I think that the leaf springs that Grand Design and a lot of the other manufacturers put on these things are terrible. I don't know where they come from, but I can tell you, I think they're terrible when they snap in half and everything else, and not just break at the shackles and stuff. That's pretty bad. So this is why I will never own an RV without independent suspension for more ride. Not giving
Yes.
them a plug,
Uh,
but I will never.
totally. Totally. In fact, we will put our More Ride link down below. There's a small discount for some stuff, but you
Perfect.
can, yeah, you can contact them and get signed up for independent suspension, because
Yes.
actually we have a big video coming out on our channel about the whole process of getting
Right.
independent suspension installed, camping out at More Ride overnight, and all of that. So
We're going to be actually back there. I'm going to have them repack my bearings and do an alignment,
okay.
just mainly because, well, I don't have the back for it after having back surgery, but mainly because I want them to inspect it, make sure at their level that it's what it's supposed to be. I trust them. I really do. And so, we're going to be back there just before we drop off our rig in April, the end of April at Grand Design.
I wanted to mention, like you said, other companies seem to be stepping up and dealing with it right away. And I just want to use our example again in case people have not
Sure.
seen our other video. But we had a Forest River Columbus RV as our first RV. It was a 2013, and it was in for service at a dealer in Minnesota. And they saw that pin box moving independently of the front cap, and they said, hey, you need to contact the manufacturer. This is something's going on here that shouldn't. And
Right.
between Columbus and Lippert, they said, don't move. We're coming to
Right.
you. They
Yeah.
came on site and they fixed it on site, and the balance of it back at the factory in Indiana.
Right.
But it was drop everything and stop, and we're going to deal with this. And
Right.
we didn't even know it was frame flex at the time.
Right.
We just knew it was a problem. It got fixed. I talked with Greg yesterday, and that's also going to be a video coming out on our channel. But as a customer, we're not all technically minded. Like,
No,
Greg is a contractor. He kind of understands this stuff really well,
he does.
but I'm not. I don't know
Right.
about your experience, but
I've got some background.
a lot of us, we don't need to know the detail. It just needs to get fixed.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. Exactly. But the thing is though, too, Tom, you want to make sure that you trust them enough to fix it correctly, that there are certified welders and certified engineers that are doing this. And I'm gonna throw another suggestion, and I'm sending this out to Grand Design or any other manufacturer. If you are laying off anybody from your main production plant because production's down or whatever the case may be, put them over in your customer service shop. Let them help fix these RVs. This way, you're laying anybody off. You're just moving them over to the other plant to help fix these RVs. And I did forget to mention that to Brad, and so hopefully he'll see this and they'll consider that.
Yeah, go through those employment files and oh, welding experience. Okay,
Right.
hired. Yeah.
But just make sure they don't do it the way they did it in the production factory.
Right. I know that in watching some of the other videos that are out there, that it does seem like a lot of the industry, and I'll just specifically say at Lippert, is
Yes.
blaming the customer, that we are doing all these things wrong. And I think as customers, we do take some responsibility, but not all of it, not half of it.
No.
I
No.
feel like when you show us a marketing piece in a magazine of this momentum off-road, in
Yeah.
the Tetons somewhere, and I'm guilty of taking our rig where some people wouldn't. But
Right.
we want that experience. We want to be where there's nobody else. We
Right.
want that true boondocking, that true camping experience. To say that we shouldn't be doing that when it's in the marketing material, I think these need to be built for that, but maybe we can be more careful, but it can't be built just like it's going to break as soon as you take it off the road.
Yeah.
That doesn't work either.
So I'd love to elaborate on this one. This is a good one. And we've seen it. We know a lot of people that take their RVs out and they boondock. I understand that. I'm going to tell you right now, do not take a 3-axle Grand Design Momentum or a 3-axle Solitude out in the boonies. Don't do it. If you do it, you're giving them more ammunition to void your warranty than anything. These are not meant to do that. Going down a little country road to get to an RV park or something, that's one thing. But when you have a 3-axle rig like this, it's big. It's 45 foot 10 inches. It does not belong boondocking in some wild place that an RV shouldn't be. That's what overlanding vehicles are for. I almost got into that instead.
Okay.
But
well, I will
yeah.
say we'll have a little disagreement on that then. I think you're definitely that's the safe way to go.
Well, yeah, and I'm saying the way they're built right now, the way these
Okay.
things are built right now, I wouldn't recommend it. Now, if they would put independent suspension on them, or which is a cost, it's an extra cost. That's one thing, but I'd still say take it easy because something down the line is going to happen. Going down to a good example, we went down to Goodlettsville, the grand old RV resort, and I couldn't avoid it. There was these two big potholes in the ground on both sides of the freeway. We hit them, and this thing was bucking like you wouldn't believe. And that's with independent suspension, and that has never happened before, only the one time. So you go off road with some of these 3-axle rigs, you get what you get. I mean, that's kind of what happens. If they built them a little bit better, that'd be one thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. So that is I think something to watch for. And
Yeah,
so what we'll do again is we'll put your contact information
sure.
down below with the links that we've talked about, as well to the Facebook group. And then we'll keep people up to date. I know you'll let us know as soon as you hear back from Grand Design. And thank you again, Pete,
Oh, you're very welcome.
for all of us, the entire industry, not just Grand Design owners, that I feel like, again, coming together as a community, we can help the change and the improvement in the industry so that we can get this problem fixed, but also
Right.
have better built units in the future that are not so problematic, don't have frame flex, and
Correct.
start getting a really quality built unit in the first place that is safe. And I think, I mean, and that we just have to bring it back to safety,
Yeah.
because we don't want anybody getting hurt out there.
Yeah.
And
Well, Tom,
go ahead.
I'm going to throw one more suggestion out there, and you all can think about this. Everybody out here in the RV community can think about this, and that is each one of the manufacturers have their own owners committee where people like ourselves are part of that committee. Maybe once, twice a year, you go to their manufacturing plant or whatever the case may be. We all end up in Elkhart anyway, so no matter what happens. But I would suggest that to the manufacturers. Have a small owners committee, people that get out and about, whether they're YouTubers or they're not YouTubers. And then this way you can hear from the owners. You can actually hear from the owners as to what we're thinking, what we're saying, what we're hearing, that kind of stuff. And you don't work for Grand Design, you don't work for Forest River. You're your own independent little committee that all come together. And I thought of that today, and I wish I'd have passed that on to Brad, but maybe he'll see this. I don't know. I think that's a great idea.
No, that is a great idea, for sure. And I mean, feedback is so important with these companies. And again, we will be waiting with everybody else out there to see what Grand Design is going to do, and keep covering this issue as long as it takes, because I mean, hopefully, we'll cross our fingers, it's very soon and it won't take long for them to step up.
Right. Yeah.
Well, thanks again, Pete, and
thanks for having me.
Yeah, safe travels out there, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right. Thanks, Tom.